Welcome. It is a Monday evening, and you're in the right place, especially if you're a sports fan or a sports adjacent fan. Welcome to the Regulars. I'm Cody Decker.
I'm Tanya Ray Fox. We're doing it. Wait, we
are
got a cheers?
Cheers.
Here we go.
Well, what can I say?
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday, and all of these games make me drink. So, listen, Tanya.
Yeah.
How was your weekend? It was not 4th of July. It was Valentine's Day weekend. I went to Catalina Island. How about you?
Well, remember when we, on one of our shows where I was filling in for Michelle, we talked about like holidays. Yeah. Shane asked us about holidays and like which ones were our favorite. And I said that like Valentine's Day was, whatever I said, I was anti-Valentine's Day.
Yes, I get that.
So didn't do much.
Good.
But I am also pro other people doing stuff on Valentine's. Like I like when people are enjoying Valentine's Day, like when I see the guys at like the store who are buying the chocolates and the flowers and like little teddies and stuff, I find that really cute, very endearing. It's just not something that I particularly need in my life. But saw your adventures in Catalina Islands.
Yes.
And I was loving it. I mean, I know a thing or two about what's going on in Catalina Island these days for you, and I'm really happy for it.
I had a very good time, and I will tell you this: I did one romantic gesture that I normally wouldn't do.
Really?
Well, they have a beautiful movie. They have a beautiful theater there, like this ridiculous. It's called the Casino. It's this old, glitzy, like built in the 1930s type of theater, and you go in there, you feel like you're just transported into an old Hollywood different time. And upstairs is a huge ballroom, very stunning. I went there for New Year's Eve this year. But the actual theater, and it was Valentine's Day, and I didn't know this at the time, so we kind of called an audible, me and the group that I was with, because I was with a group of people. And they were playing The Princess Bride, and I can't stress this enough, and I'm not saying this because of the recent tragedy of Rob Reiner. That is arguably my favorite movie that I can literally perform for you right now.
No, you have said
moment.
this before. Like you're a big Princess Bride guy. So,
it's a perfect movie. There's like in my life, I've seen like 5 perfect movies, and The Princess Bride is smack dab in the top of that list.
I don't think that there's a Gen Xer or millennial alive that's going to disagree with you on
Good.
that.
Because if you do, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Period. Stop.
But that's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you got to do that.
Not bad.
You are sort of a softie. Like I could see you being somebody who was like, whatever, Valentine's Day, when you're not in a relationship, but then when you are, you're kind of like,
no. I'm normally pretty anti-Valentine's Day. I'm very anti-commercialism to begin with. Yet here I am working in the sports media industry and being a corporate shill for all of you powerful people out there. Isn't that great?
Not right now, though.
No, not at the moment, which means I get to say whatever the hell I want.
We're looking to be corporate shills if anybody wants.
But until then, we're holding all your feet to the fire until you pay us to do otherwise.
Still looking for the Oyster Bay promotion.
Or whatever white wine this is.
Yeah, if you actually want us to move off of Oyster Bay, we'd be happy to. Dare you to get us off it.
We are easily purchased, unquestionably. So
yeah.
Welcome to the show. We thank anybody for joining us live, and not to mention joining us at any time and watching these clips and taking a look at the show and digging what we're doing. We can't stress this enough. The idea of this show is to kind of hold this industry accountable. And it's not just that we have perspectives. I think we have unique perspectives. You worked in this industry for 17 years at this point.
Close to it.
I've been in this industry now for about almost a decade, and not to mention playing for 11 years and then 4 years of college. So I feel like we both have very unique perspectives, and that's the perspective we'd like to give people here on the Regulars. We want it just to be like, dude, when you're at a bar and you're having a drink, what are you guys actually talking about? I highly doubt you're sitting there having the conversation, well, LeBron is better than Michael, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
You might occasionally have that conversation, but every bar I go to, we sit down, we have a conversation about the actual real shit that's happening in sports.
Yeah, and the greatest part about my bar experiences is always when people find out that I work in sports. And what do they want to know? They don't want to know who I think the GOAT is. They want to know what the details are behind the scenes. What do I know about the industry? What insights do I have? Just like, I mean, the cool thing about living in Los Angeles is that you actually get to meet people in different, like I've met like movie grips, right? Who were on like Christopher Nolan sets. And
yes.
Like when you get to talk to those people, we are those people for other people. And so like we're even these are actually the kind of conversations I get into. Now, generally I don't have somebody across from me having a wine with me that knows exactly the experience, who can be like, hey, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's a dick, Like,
yes. There is a good amount of people that I know to be dicks and or not.
We
dicks.
do spend a lot of time off camera being like, this guy, and then I'm like, yeah. You're like, and we both nod at each other.
Don't like him.
Yeah,
don't like him at all. So there is a lot of that takes place in this show because listen. I'm not going to lie to you. The majority, you know what's funny though? The majority of people in this industry, I would honestly say, the majority of people in this industry are actually very cool.
Yeah,
very cool, very smart. very well put together. But then you have your other ones that have lost the plot completely, that have been so busy drinking their own piss that they truly think that their own piss is actually delicious Coca-Cola. And it is baffling to me. And listen, I'll use a really good example of earlier today where one dipshit truly thinks he's running for president just because he's louder than other people. The guy doesn't know anything about sports, and he can't handle a berating from Michelle Beadle. I'm not sure he can do any better on the political landscape.
Yeah, I mean, if he was that mad about what his former coworkers have had to say about him.
Specifically women, I want to make abundantly clear. Because I noticed that I noticed he tucked his tail down between his legs and didn't say shit about me, because sometimes there are consequences.
Oh, well, I think that there's going to be consequences eventually, but, sometimes we have to wait a little longer.
I'm just waiting for one of you wonderful lady folk in this industry to just kick the man directly into the fleshy, empty sack that was his balls.
You'd be so surprised how many people, you wouldn't be surprised by this, but so many people in my comments on my content online, whatever, are like, why aren't you on First Take? Like, why don't we get you in there? Why don't we have you going up against Stephen A. Smith?
Some
and I'm
won't handle that.
You guys, he would be ready to punt me off set in 10 minutes flat.
This guy couldn't handle Max Kellerman.
Yeah.
He sure as shit cannot handle a woman saying something to him, because the fact is he doesn't do any research.
And not the way I talk about stuff.
No.
I don't do the well, I'd love to present an alternate point.
No.
If I could, sir.
No, the answer is, that was stupid as shit. Let me tell you what's actually happening.
It'd be tiniest fact checks the whole time.
So, welcome to the show. We thank you guys. A few of us that are joining us live right now. Of course, this is only our second live show. We are getting our bearings in doing the live shows. Of course, we're doing this Mondays and Fridays. We kind of come in the Monday ready to talk about the good things that are coming into the sports world. And by Friday, we are completely burnt out, like we just ran through a fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this weekend was kind of like a relaxing sports weekend, relatively, compared to, we came off the Super Bowl. We were coming off of all this kind of stuff. This weekend was Olympics and All-Star weekends. You can't really, that's about as easy as it's going to get. And surprisingly, Cody, the WNBA or the NBA All-Star weekend was a slight improvement in some ways and then a major improvement in other ways across the weekend. A lot of people did not have high expectations for the All-Star game because it has not been going well the last few years.
No, in fact, I've been one of those people that have been very critical of the NBA All-Star game, and I've been fairly critical about the NBA in general. Now, keep in mind, I am a fan of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I am a diehard Laker fan. Granted, I'm also a realistic Laker fan. I'm not one of those Laker fans that's just like, oh, it's all about the Lakers 24/7. No. I see the team in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
The Lakers are a mile behind them.
Sure.
I see the team in San Antonio. The Lakers are about a quarter mile behind them, if not further.
No, you're not delusional. You're just a fan
I'm just a fan like any other fan. That being said, the NBA's missteps when it comes to the All-Star games of the past. Now, I'm going to say missteps. I want to actually apologize, because this is one of the few times, because I really have been a very big proponent of the player empowerment movement that's been in the NBA.
Sure.
However, it does seem like there's been a little bit of too much give and take when it comes to that, because, and I'll use the All-Star game as an example. I appreciate the NBA trying things year after year, even if these things haven't worked. And the whole thing is, my problem is, the things they're trying are just to get the players to give a shit.
Right.
We should not be living in a world where we need to convince the players of any major sport to give a shit.
Yeah.
Granted, that's been the big problem in the NBA. That being said, I've been clamoring and yelling from the rooftops for about 4 years now, make it U.S. versus the world. And they did. And in my opinion, headline number one, this is probably the best NBA All-Star game we've had in a while. And the structure of it, that I freely admit they full-on stole from the NHL. Don't care if you stole it from the NHL. Do it again.
The fans asked you. The fans saw the NHL All-Star game last year, said, hello, this was sick as hell. Do this. And the NBA was like, okay.
And by the way, 12-minute little short spurts.
Yeah.
You got yourself a
Each
ton
one was like
of
a quarter
effort.
of basketball.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. The only thing I didn't love, and of course a little bit of this is happenstance, the world should have been the best team out there. But when you're only getting 5 minutes out of Luka and 5 minutes out of Joker, and then you have no SGA, and Kyrie is hurt, and Embiid, although Embiid did play for the U.S. in the Olympics, so I really don't know what team he'd play for on this one.
He gets to do whatever he feels like. And
Giannis,
you know what?
Giannis hurt as well.
Yeah.
So the world was
They
a little
didn't have
bit.
the best of the world.
But you had
know what?
Wemby.
But the thing is, if Jokic and Doncic aren't going to play, Then isn't that a statement about the world team itself?
No, I think that's a statement about two specific men
Well,
and their lack of interest in
that's
playing
what
basketball.
That's what I mean. On the flip side, like the players who did kind of get, I mean, to the world's credit, kind of it's one of the headlines that we were kind of talking about is talking about what really did save the like what made it better this year, right? And was it the format or was it Wembanyama? Because a lot of, I mean, we have this quote from, who was it from? Anthony Edwards, who said, he set the tone and it woke
right out the
me
gate.
up. Right. He set the tone and it woke me up for sure. To be sure, the format does deserve some credit. Like, there's all that stuff. But like the idea that the way Wembanyama came out, got the tip, like he literally was like, "Oh, we're playing,"
and he gave a shit. Like
Right.
he cared from Jump Street. Like truly gave 3 points in 10 minutes.
and that's all it takes is for like the best young player in the game, someone who's going to be the inarguably best player in the game at some point very soon. If for some people he already is, for him to come out and be like, "So I'm gonna play like this. You guys can either let me and be jokes about it, or we can play some pretty good basketball."
And they did.
Because you have to.
You did. Well, to take on Wembanyama,
They don't care
who's
about money. They don't care about ego until someone like that, until
right.
the young buck comes in, 7 foot, whatever the hell he is, playing basketball like that. And then they're like, you can always kind of count on Kawhi at any point in time
Which,
to
holy
decide that
shit,
it's,
that's another dude
it's
that showed
always
up.
wild in these moments to like Kawhi peak at his very best is just one of the best basketball players of all time.
Unquestionably.
And it's so weird how little we've gotten to experience it for the last like 6-7 years.
Because he hasn't played in the last 6-7 years.
But like when he does, you're like, oh wait, hold on. Like I've never, it's. I mean, to some extent, we sometimes experience it with Kyrie as well. But like I do think that the format was always going to help things, but I don't think the format changes it enough if someone like Wembanyama doesn't step up to say, we're playing ball. Like we're not going to act like it's the NBA Finals, nor are we supposed to. The only person who ever did that was Kobe.
Yes, but this was the first time since
Right.
Kobe that this is what it looked like. This
Right.
is, I dug everything about this, and it was that it was you find what it reminded me of Wemby's first play when he gets that tip and immediately gets under the basket and it's like don't fuck this, I'm scoring 30 points. It reminded me of that story that is now lives in infamy that Magic Johnson told about Michael Jordan. And I know we always pontificate and tell stories about Michael Jordan as these folk tales, but hearing Magic Johnson talk about when he was on the bus, and I think it was for the Dream Team or something, or it might have been an All-Star game. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But Magic said we were on the bus, and MJ comes on the bus and tells me and Larry Bird immediately while smoking a cigar, there's a new sheriff in town and his name is Michael Jordan. He's like, he said he looked at me, Matt. He's like, Magic, you don't got the Showtime players with you anymore. This is my league now. And you know what we said? We looked at each other like, he's right.
Yeah.
That's what this weekend felt like for Wembanyama. He walked in and said, no.
Yeah.
This shit's my league now. And look what it did. It raised Kawhi's game right up immediately. And then Ant Edwards, who we've been kind of clamoring to be the face of this league for the last couple of years, dude wins MVP. He flat out admits he brought his game up. This is the NBA I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's weird to think about the fact that we've been in this like because the basketball players, you can't look around at Doncic and Steph Curry and Luka Jokic. Luka Doncic.
It works.
Jokic.
No, the way they both acted that day, Luka Jokic is very, very accurate.
You can't like look around at the players who've been great for the last 5-10 years and say like they have not been great ambassadors for basketball. People love Jokic. People have loved Steph Curry for the last 12, 15 years.
It's hard not to.
But there is like if you look at what an NBA led by Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards looks like, that's what we just got in a sample size of. Was like, what does it look like if these two are two of the faces of the league? And to some extent, it's more likely. I mean, Wemby's like very sweet and like very like he's just like great. He's just very easy to like. Ant is he's a star.
Yes,
like he's a star. He was just absolutely just golden on the mic like all weekend
at all times
at the podium. I sent you the clip of him talking about being asked about being the 7th hottest player in the all time in the NBA, and he is, at first he doesn't understand the question. He's like, what are you talking about? Like play, like the way I play? And then the guy's like, nah,
bro.
just that you're kind of hot. Like
You're a good-looking cat.
You're a good-looking guy. And the way he reacts to it, like he doesn't filter himself. He doesn't. Naturally charming people who don't filter themselves like that is kind of like perfect. The fact that he's like kind of annoying, but in a way that is little brotherish to a lot of the players.
I would agree with
the
that.
way he idolizes Kevin Durant in the most shameless way possible. Like he follows Kevin Durant around. That's not like a bit. This is I am friends with people who've made those Netflix documentaries. He is obsessed with Kevin Durant,
Which I appreciate,
Which is
by the
so funny. It's so funny to have a like current superstar be like, "That's my guy," and follow him around and like mimic what he does. There's everything about Ant is perfect, and like I know guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. People have tried to see if they're not gonna. They don't have the personality. Jason Tatum's a perfect basketball player. Doesn't have the personality. Doesn't have like the thing that people can latch onto, and that's okay. But Ant does, and like I agree that it's the first time in a minute, and I'm a Celtics fan. It's been great to be a Celtics fan lately, but it's the first time in a minute that like I feel like the NBA is grasping onto something post LeBron that like could exist post LeBron.
Yes, it seems like there is a real legitimate future post LeBron, post KD, post Kyrie. Like it really feels like we actually have the batch of new superstars. My question is, how is the NBA going to transition us from those superstars to that? Because we're going to get ourselves a LeBron farewell tour.
Yeah.
That's likely going to last 3 years. We're probably going to get a KD farewell tour. Like, everyone needs to have their farewell tour. That's why Chris Paul not getting one's kind of an outlier right now.
Yeah, I mean, and Chris Paul, of anybody, like, I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's such a generational player, no rings, but I mean, Chris Paul has been a superstar in the NBA since I was in like high school. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's been around forever. So that was kind of the farewell tour last year during the Olympics last summer in summer of 2024 when all those players played together and you saw, wow, like this is going to look completely different by 2028. This is going to be a whole different group of leaders, and some of them were obviously already playing on the team, but the Steph, KD, LeBron era, we're closing it out.
Now we're going to the Ants, the Wembys.
It's going to be Ant and Wemby
Jalen
and
Brunson,
Jason Tatum and Jalen Brunson, and these dudes who are like taking everything over, and that's fun. Like there is the like, so there's like the if you want to make Jason Tatum the kind of avatar of like what's his name from the Spurs, Tim Duncan, right? Like if he's like the Tim Duncan, and then there's Ant who's like more of like an MJ type figure, over the top and ridiculous, or like there's all these different archetypes among them that kind of work perfectly. Jalen Brunson, this sort of silent assassin, I love it.
Me too. I really like the direction the NBA is going, and I do think this All-Star game was a step in the right direction. That being said, I don't think it was perfect, and I'll give you my example of what I didn't think was perfect.
Yeah.
I love Steph Curry. Never been quiet about how much I love Steph Curry. But hearing Steph Curry saying, next year I'm bringing everyone with the three-point contest, where were you today? You could have done this now. You're there right now, and now I have to watch you shoot one from the NBC like booth with everybody standing around from 9 miles away, which I thought was awesome. But like, dude, just get in the contest. I don't need to see Dame Lillard just sneak a third championship in the three-point contest because you chose not to do it again.
I wish they would get rid of the dunk contest.
Me too.
If it's going to be this.
I think it's over.
And then the three-point contest, sort of like, if you're not going to have the guys we want to see, like, I mean, it's cool because everybody, the three-point contest used to be cool because not everybody could shoot threes. And now it's like literally everybody's an elite three-point shooter. It's just not the same as it used to be. But man, I'm giving them one more season to fix the dunk contest after this year went the way it did with the All-Star game.
I think it's over.
Because that was, I mean, the Chet dunk, there was like some bad stuff that like actually was a little bit embarrassing. And the judges having to sell it. Like Dwight Howard's trying to sell it with his his scores. And I'm like, you don't even deserve to have to do this, Dwight. Like, I remember the golden days.
Yeah.
You were there. We were there.
Listen, you know what? Maybe it's one of those things. They need to take it away from us for a little bit to make the heart grow kind of fonder. And maybe someday we'll get. I mentioned it earlier today. I'm just of the theory that maybe we've just run out of new dunks, and at the end of the day, the guys just don't want to plan that hard for a dunk contest.
You know what I think it is. I watched the Unrivaled 1v1 all weekend. They did the Unrivaled 1v1 tournament, and people have been clamoring for a one-on-one tournament.
Yes, including in the All-Star game.
For NBA, WNBA, but this was Unrivaled, and it was amazing. Like, field started out really big. They whittled it all the way down, so I watched, like, the later rounds, and the final was, like, you play till 7. So this was a different format than I think they were playing till 11 before, but you played a 7, 3 games, you win 2.
Okay.
So it goes to a third game, and they are exhausted. They've been playing one-on-one games all day. And so it's Chelsea Gray versus Alicia Gray, and they're exhausted, and they're panting, and they're standing next to each other, and there's these, like, picture-perfect moments of them both leaning over on their knees, like, and they are playing their asses off. They are so competitive. They are mean mugging. They are chucking the ball back to the refs. And that competitiveness, well, the winner of it wins $200,000. And
Not
so
bad.
on top of the fact that the women are already just more competitive in this, beyond just the money, like, women athletes are very competitive.
Yes,
And
they are.
And when you don't have $300 million contracts and you have money on the line to win, like, that's a big deal for Chelsea Gray, who's one of the best basketball players in the country, in the world, to be able to win $200,000, take her family on a really great vacation, put something down on, whatever, is huge. And I looked at Chris and I was like, what if we gave the winner of the dunk contest $5 million?
You'd have a lot more guys trying to do the dunk contest. Yes, no question about it. Unquestionably.
Everybody wants $5 million.
I'll try to join the fucking dunk contest.
The NBA has $5 million to give the winner of the dunk contest.
No question.
They can keep it. They can give it to charity. Depends on who they are, right? If you're LeBron, you don't keep it, right? But if you are, like, a young star that we want to see who actually could use the extra $5 million, but, like, let's put it, like, let's make there a reason for, like, stars to do it. Otherwise, they clearly aren't invested in it.
You're not wrong. And let's not forget that Pete Alonso in the home run derby won it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
He quadrupled his salary because he won 2 straight home run derbies.
Wait, was that a contract thing?
No, they decided to give $1 million to the winner of the home run derby, and then Pete Alonso, who was making major league minimum both times he won it, was able to double his salary.
So he wasn't a star.
Well, he
when
was
he
a
won?
star, but keep in mind this was the Wilpon years for the Mets, so they weren't into giving people money back then. The Mets are
There's
very
so
into
few
it now.
baseball players that aren't making money, and they still get stars to do the home run derby.
They do now, well, especially now. Like, the home run derby is, like, fantastic still.
It's
because
amazing.
But in fairness, the home run derby doesn't require as much showmanship as specifically the dunk contest does. So in fairness, it's different.
You're not getting, like, a judgment.
You're not getting
on
style points on your
These guys
homers.
are so afraid of looking stupid.
Exactly, and I understand that, but
Yeah.
also, fucking get over it. You're an NBA All-Star.
Also,
You'll be fine.
then you don't get to say that you're the next Michael Jordan or you're the next Kobe or you're the next LeBron if you're afraid of being stupid.
A very good point being made in here in the chat right
Okay.
now by High Off the Glass. How you doing over the great? Here was my other problem with the All-Star game. And I think it's just a certain network, NBC, is very out of touch. Because opening the show, you got all these new stars. You got this new network. You got all these things that we're trying to really promote for the future of the NBA. And then you roll out John Tesh and Bob Costas. I'm sorry. Every video package they made was cringeworthy to me. Everything they did on the court was cringeworthy to me. Now, granted, I'm glad they pulled back on the Kevin Hart of it all this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Bob Costas and John Tesh was the way to go.
I'm not going to hit on Round Ball Rock.
Round Ball Rock's fine, but John Tesh, and again, this is not to make fun of John Tesh, who is perfectly fine, but watching him perform Round Ball Rock on an NBA All-Star Game court was a big old swing and a miss for me.
Really?
Big old swing.
I get the
he
Bob
looked
Costas
like
of
my
it all.
friend's elderly aunt.
I don't mind that. I know what you mean. Like, it might be time to retire this.
Aunt
but
Edwards
Bob
is in there.
Costas
We got a bunch of young, like, talented, hungry stars, and you're making them watch John Tesh.
Well, they gave them Drewski to hang out.
Well, all in all, I did enjoy the All-Star game. I think this was a massive step forward, and I can't wait for next year because if we keep this exact format, And now seeing how Wemby came out for the world, now I'm kind of hoping some more world
And now
players are gonna
maybe
come
we
out.
finally have a face of the league, and we can stop having that conversation. It's Ant. Everybody knows it's Ant. It's Ant and Wemby if you want to give a duo, and that's who it is. And so the Western Conference is really winning. We miss Hallie in the East. That's
We
the issue.
really
gotta get
miss
Hallie back.
Halliburton, and Jalen Brunson didn't really do much in
He
this
never
go round.
does. Jalen is so boring. I mean, people think Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum are boring, and then I'm like, buddy, this is all the Jays over, and they're so bad.
Listen, I'm not saying anything bad about Tatum and Brown, but they are boring.
No, I know. I
They're
mean,
so boring.
well, Jalen Brown's like kind of interesting. At least he's like kind of
He is
like
unique.
like unique and enigmatic. Jason Tatum's just nice, and you're just, like, and so is Jalen Brown. Like Jalen Brunson, they're kind of just like nice guys that like are kind of quiet and keep to themselves. And you're like, well, what's that about? We need Ant. We need someone out here being a weirdo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that does lead us in. We have two NBA.
Oh
topics,
yeah, so
'cause
let's go to headline 2 because speaking of Ant,
Yeah.
his hero may have been discovered.
we may have cracked the code
We
on
finally found.
Kevin Durant's burner accounts. If to anybody who's uninitiated, it's been like we've known forever.
like a
Kevin Durant
decade.
has been telling us that he has burner accounts on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter talks shit, like trolls, does the whole thing,
Yes.
and he also does this from his own account as well. Like
Yes.
publicly, KD Trey on Twitter and elsewhere has been doing this
A long
forever.
time, and he's one of the very best at it.
Yeah, excellent. Like some people think it's like corny and lame and they hate it. I think he's I think it's so funny. I think the fact that he shit talks people, I think the way that he like will troll people back is very funny. I don't think we do it enough. I'm always down for it. Burner accounts is interesting.
Yes.
And some ex users have claimed that they've interacted with an account named GetHigher77, claiming the account is run by Durant. The account, which is now set to private, features a header photo of an owl, which comes from a popular
Very
GIF
famously.
Durant has tweeted on his own account. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's really just rumors. People are showing stuff. They're showing some DMs and like some stuff that's popped up.
Yes. But
You
also,
uncovered some other stuff. That
I
people
did.
Are,
Can you throw the photos of KD this weekend? There was also when these photos were taken and suspiciously some other tweets were thrown out at the exact same time. I'm not saying this is the smoking gun. I'm just saying he called out Shams for posting on the court, and Shams had to hit him right back saying, "On the court, KD, what are you doing?" And I loved it.
Yes.
Absolutely loved every aspect of this. However, dude, do we really need burner accounts in today's day and age?
Yeah.
No, we don't.
I think we do. And
don't.
here's the thing.
really don't.
Can I defend the burner account?
I'm going to let you do it.
Okay. I don't think we are properly discussing how many people in like the celebrity world, whether it's athletes, actors, musicians, whatever, they all have burner accounts that they use maybe sometimes to troll people, but even worse, most often, to hype themselves up
Yeah,
in their own
that's
comment
the
sections.
saddest
But-
thing in the world.
They all do it, Cody. It's so bad. I have discovered this recently, like
What?
in the last couple of years. Every celebrity has burner accounts that they use to like hype up themselves in conversations on their own posts.
That's embarrassing.
And so the problem with KD, which is always his problem, is that he is more transparent than everybody else.
Yeah.
So he has told people he has burners. So we're waiting to find his burner. We're looking for his burner, and he shit talks publicly. So everybody, but the reality is they're all doing it. They've all always been doing it, and it's not just athletes. So there's a part of me that like I feel like I respect it, and I'm like, if we're gonna know this, and everybody in the industry knows that this goes on, then like I respect the hustle of doing it from now. Granted, he's talking shit about his own teammates, but again,
Yes, he is.
I don't think so. I do actually think I have to come to KD's defense extra here too. One of my good friends is good friends with KD. He is of those dudes that like all the superstars right now that go and do these Netflix documentaries and everything else, is the nicest with his time. He's like, get what you need,
Yeah.
no worries about it. Like, does not send pages and pages of notes. Like, he is a good dude to people, like by and large,
I mean, I'm a
in
fan
those
of it.
spaces.
Plain and simple.
So, and some of the people he's talking about aren't.
Ah, interesting.
So, like, It's just like I know I'm a little bit of a KD homer in the
Yes.
way that I've just always been a fan of KD. He's never played for any of the teams I root for, but
Same.
like I just really like him. I like how much he likes basketball, and I think that there's a lot of basketball players right now who don't love the game and don't want to grow the game in the way that he wishes that they did. And so, you know what?
Call their asses out.
I think I'm team KD's burner.
I mean, how about this? It's not that I hate KD's burner. I hate burner accounts in general. I think it's sad and weird.
Did a burner account hurt you?
No, I just don't understand why anybody needs it. I'm happy to say anything to any of your faces with my own account.
Yeah, but like I mean, how much we get attacked by burners all day. Every
Yeah,
day,
but
right?
I just tell them to their faces, go fuck yourself,
Right.
you big ass dummy.
Right, but
I
so
have no problem saying that.
the trolls get to use burner accounts, but
Let 'em, I don't
KD
care.
doesn't. I say let.
I don't know. I guess I'm a
I've
more
never
evolved
been into
man.
it. I've literally, and I swear on like everything. I don't use a burner account to talk crap about him. I've never have. Everything that I say, I put my name and my face to. Same for you. That makes us very unique on the internet.
Apparently, that's the case. Yeah.
Makes us very unique. But I don't hold that standard for old KD.
I don't hold a grudge on KD for it. I understand it's the reality of the world. I just, wish he didn't. I wish he would just say everything from his own
He
account.
kind of does, which is like
does.
the weirdest
That's why he
part.
doesn't need the burner accounts. That's what I don't get.
No, that's fair.
That's all. That's all. I just don't get it. It doesn't mean I'm right. It means I don't get it.
It is really weird that it's like if you're willing to already be known as a shit talker, and I just like part of me is just like I think maybe he doesn't have a vibrant social life, just like most people.
He
who
loves
engage
video
a lot on
games and chilling.
yeah. So I think that just like most people who use troll accounts to troll, they're getting a little bit of socializing out of it that they couldn't get elsewhere.
Okay.
And for an NBA player, he is more chill than. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have company.
Yes.
I'm just saying that it's usually at his house.
Well, well, let's go ahead and move on to headline number 3, and this is taking us over to the NFL.
Yeah.
Interesting day in Miami. They just went ahead and fired everyone. I believe they released 4 specific players, one of which being Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. Salary dump, and obviously
seemed
the
like he
knee
didn't wanna be
surgery.
there.
And he didn't want to
Yeah.
be there anyways. But there was a name in there I wasn't thoroughly thrilled with because not only did he lead the team in sacks, but he was also a Man of the Year finalist.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the type of guy you really would like to keep in your organization, not get rid of in a salary dump.
Yeah. Bradley Chubb had 8.5 sacks for the Dolphins this year. Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. And this is what I don't like about this. So they essentially said like, we're trying to save, this is a salary caps, situation. As of right now, his cap hit for 2026 would be $31.2 million. Big cap hit, not unmanageable. Big cap hit. By releasing Chubb, the Dolphins save $7.34 million in cap space in 2026 while eating $23.9 million in dead money for the season. If Miami chooses to designate Chubb as a post-June 1 release, it would save $20.2 million with $11 million left in dead cap space. And then there would be $12.9 million in dead cap pushed to the 2027. So either way, they are spending a ton in dead cap to cut one of their best players and a team leader.
And arguably the best people.
Right. So like, you're telling us you're not rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
But you just got rid of a team leader, one of your best defensive players, put an incredible defensive player on the market. And, one of the best pass rushers that's hit the market in a while with a couple other people. And so like, this is the reason I wanted to include this is specifically because in the NFL, especially, there is a thing among fans where it's like, there is no, like, these players, they don't care about winning. They don't care about rings. They care about making their money. They care about whatever. Like, oh, these diva wide receivers want their contracts and they hold out and they talk about Jamar Chase and they talk about Trey Hendrickson. And I'm going to just keep naming Bengals.
Go for it. Keep going.
They all just want their money.
Yes.
If you're playing for the Bengals, you should probably want your money too.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, whatever else, right? So Bradley Chubb does everything you're supposed to do as a player for a team. Gets paid the way he should be getting paid. Performs the way he should perform for getting paid. And they're like, actually, that's too much money. We will pay to get rid of you. That's what the dead cap is
Yes.
you are paying money now. I mean, it's not entirely, but like that's all going to count toward their salary cap. So you're not even saving money this year.
No.
And like, I'm so tired of the conversation every time this happens being like, well, that's the business. That's the business of football.
Yeah,
okay, well, you know what? It's the business of football then when you think some pass rusher got overpaid. That's the business of football because that guy can sign for as much as he wants, and then he can go out and give you 12 sacks and be doing the most you could possibly do in the community, and they will cut his ass.
Yeah, which is actually, by the way, the NFL, as much as I despise, and we will get into salary caps and all this shit, the NFL, I think, is culprit number one. And I mean this from the very bottom of my heart, because the NFL has already displayed that their salary cap is actually the biggest bullshit thing that currently exists. They don't have a salary cap. As much as the NFL wants to pretend that they have a salary cap.
What do you mean?
Well, they constantly restructure every contract into signing bonuses, thus making more cap space all the time.
Well, they have a cap. You're saying that they like constantly rearrange stuff to work
all
within
the
cap,
time.
which is fine.
Which
This
is fine,
isn't-
but all you're doing is telling me, okay, if you're rearranging every contract to work within the cap, then the cap doesn't really exist.
That's why it's so particularly galling
Yes.
when people are mad that these players make guaranteed money. Because the guaranteed money is essentially like, for a lot of players, that's what they're going to make.
Yeah.
The rest of their contract is null and void, which is why it's also particularly galling that they guaranteed Deshaun Watson's entire contract.
Which I will never,
$231 million.
for the rest of my life, of all the things that I do not understand in sports, and
never-
there is a decent amount.
Never gotten a decent explanation.
This one is the most
Yeah.
egregious, fucking annoying, stupid, baffling fucking decision in maybe the history of sports.
Yeah. And so he's just taking up space and money. And so the more that's what's happening is these agents are going to these teams and saying, cool, you want to keep restructuring contracts? Great. This is what the guaranteed money is going to look like right now. Like this is what's on, because that's what happens to these players is they get cut and then, or there's this maneuvering. And for players like Patrick Mahomes, right? Who has restructured his deal very like Brady-esque, like a couple times to help the team stay under the salary cap and do certain things. Great. Like Patrick Mahomes signed a $500 million contract over 10 years. He's restructured it. Like he signs it knowing that's what's going to happen.
Yes.
He has job security, like barring a truly horrific situation, job security, guaranteed money.
Yeah.
That's what he does. That doesn't always work for like even star players at basically every other position unless you get that guaranteed money in there. And if you have injury history, it's just like an insurance company. They hold that against you. They're not going to give you they're like, well, you had an ACL surgery 3 years ago. That all happens. So like while the salary cap does genuinely exist and does create parity in the NFL, so I don't want people to think that it doesn't exist. Some teams are more cutthroat and or more skilled at working within the structure of the salary cap. And some teams are worse at honoring their players. I mean, at his best, Bill Belichick was cutting players left and right that had done a lot for him to do exactly what you said, to like manage the roster. And it was the right thing to do to continue to make Super Bowls. But at no point did I ever say a player who wanted more money should have just stayed and taken a pay cut to play for Bill Belichick. That's absolutely not.
Agreed.
And people say it all the time.
It's wild, isn't it?
And you know what's going to happen? The worst part about this is Bradley Chubb's just going to end up on the goddamn Chiefs or the Eagles or the Rams.
No. Come
And
to my
he's
Raiders.
going to win a title.
Come to my Raiders. Come to my Raiders, please.
Sir.
Just think about it.
Sir.
It's a new beginning for
You're
Vegas.
getting Tyreek Hill. So enjoy that.
I would like you very much not to put that in the universe.
I was thinking he might go to the Patriots. It seems like something Tyreek Hill would totally do. It feels very like...
It seems very Tyreek Hill.
And
He's
it
like,
feels
oh,
very
Randy
Michael-
Moss did this.
And like Mike Vrabel gets along with everybody. Like, so that's... But yeah, good luck with... There are other... I mean,
He's
other
going
pass
to
rushers
have
out there
plenty
that
of
are
options.
available. I don't think I would go to the Raiders. if I
Well,
were
reason
him,
why is I'm
but
just thinking they're most likely going to move off from Max,
Max.
Crosby. So bring in...
Where does Max want to go?
I don't know. I feel like if
I know
he
he
really
wants
wants
to
to
go,
go, he'll
but-
get the hell out of there. I mean, I'm thinking of all the teams. Like, imagine him in Detroit.
I think he wants to go. You know who I think he wants to go? He wants to go play for Mike McDaniels, or Jim Harbaugh. I think he wants to go to the Chargers.
If the Raiders do that, I will set Allegiant Stadium on fucking fire.
I
hate the Chargers.
I agree.
They're the only team I hate, and I can't imagine the Raiders being so
Now,
inept
why do you
in
hate the Chargers that much? Just outside, I mean, AFC West, right? But like,
They were in San Diego. I was an LA Raider fan, and then the Chargers with the gall to move into the Raiders market here in Los Angeles, which essentially caused the Raiders not able to move back to LA, and which led to the Vegas move. A part of that was also the
'cause
Kroenke.
the Raiders could have come back.
Yes,
That's
but part of that was
Kroenke's
also
fault,
Kroenke because he was well aware if he brought the Rams here, that wasn't going to be Rams' house. That was going to be Raiders' house no matter what happened. So what did he do? He brought in the least favorite team in Los Angeles history, the Chargers, who are now in Los Angeles, maybe the 15th most important team next to the Arizona Cardinals somehow.
Yeah.
Like they are hated here. They are reviled here, and it doesn't matter who they hire. No one's going to care about the Chargers in this market. And frankly, I'm pretty sure in the San Diego market, they've all abandoned. Who are Charger fans? Have you met any? Because I've met like 10 in the last 3
I
years.
genuinely think there's 10 to 15 of them. I think that they're incredibly loyal. Like, if you meet a Chargers fan, they're actually like the best because you're like, why would you?
I
But there's
appreciate
only
them.
15.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them. And that one woman who also famously had photos of her doing, that woman who was making all the faces of the Charger game,
Yeah.
but also had famous photos of her doing the same thing in Vikings gear.
Yeah, but I think we found out that she is actually like, those are her two teams. Like that it's like Vikings Chargers. She's like one of those people.
You can't care this much about two teams in the NFL.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Some people say that. I personally, if you like, I do think that sometimes it's just like if you didn't grow up in a place where you had a built-in like love of a team.
Fair.
You know, like I know a lot of people
Well,
who
you can't
do
just
that.
pick them all.
He didn't. She picked an AFC team and an NFC team. Now, when people have two favorite teams, I've been accused of this a little bit because of how much I ride for Lamar Jackson. I've been
But that's
accused
Lamar.
of being,
That's a different
No,
thing.
but I've been accused of being a Ravens fan. Accusations thrown around. People are like Ravens fans are actually like bummed when they find out I'm not a Ravens fan. I'm like, turns out I actually just like cover sports like in such an unbiased way that people are shocked that I'm not just like fangirling. People think I'm like a fan of these random teams because I just happen to talk about the player in like a way that's unbiased and like
Yeah.
genuinely how I feel. And then they're like, you're rooting for Drake May? Like I'm cheating on them? I'm like, but yo, like I'm wearing a Drake May jersey right now.
I get it.
And so, but like, I could never, like, I'll wear a Lamar Jackson shirt,
I know. I've seen you wear it.
and I love it,
I know you do.
and that's great. But I will not rep another team if it's in the AFC. NFC, I could rep another team in the NFC.
Yeah, I can do that.
I
mean,
wouldn't. That wouldn't bother me.
I mean, I've kind of dug the Rams these last couple of years. There's
Yeah.
that LA thing. There's,
Yeah.
it's hard to not enjoy Matthew Stafford. They're a fun
Not for
team to
me.
watch. Probably not for you, but I think they're a fun team to watch. That's
I used to
honestly, and they've-
love Matthew Stafford.
because they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
That's probably why I guess they're my NFC team.
No,
but
I covered the Rams for a bit. I like the Rams. I loved Aaron Donald. He's like one of my favorite players
Who
of all
doesn't love
time.
Aaron Donald? Amazing stuff.
I like Sean McVay a lot. Like I think he's like an excellent coach. So like there are lots of things I like about the Rams, and it actually like at this point has become like I think Matthew Stafford's like my least favorite part of the Rams, through no fault of like anything other than just I think I think he gets like a little bit of a pass for having like a kind of lame personality, and he's not as cool as he was when he was in Detroit. So
no one's as cool as they were when they were in Detroit. That is just a
well,
fact.
I don't know. Jared Goff hasn't gotten any cooler.
He's got a little cooler.
Has he?
He was so uncool here.
Yeah, that's yeah.
He was he was square. He
Yeah,
was so square.
he's still pretty square. He just has a.
But
he
now
has a
he's
cool
in
team.
Detroit,
Yeah, no,
and
now Detroit
that's
people root for him,
cool.
and now it like gives him cred. Yeah,
I
you're
know.
right. Yeah.
All right, let's get away from the headlines. Let's get over to Media Corner. And there's only 2 Media Corner stories today. One of which, I got to say, right out the gate, I totally agree with the cat.
Oh, I knew you would.
I don't
I knew you
always
would.
agree with Bill Simmons,
Okay.
although I do often find myself agreeing with him.
Really?
I take that back. I agree with him occasionally.
I think I've agreed with him like 3 times in
I think I've-
15 years.
I think no. You know what it was? I appreciated his take because he was one of the first ones to constantly scream very loudly, "Billionaires should be paying for their own stadiums," which I wholeheartedly
Was he
agree with.
One of the first people to say
I
that,
think
or
in
one of
the-
the first people you heard say that.
In the mainstream, he was one of the first ones that I heard saying.
Fair, like maybe on ESPN. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's
so
fair. That's fair.
I'll give him a little credit for that. Outside of that, I'll freely admit I don't follow a lot of Bill Simmons.
Well,
I really
he's not
don't.
really in the zeitgeist as much as he was before. So
He
yeah.
used to be a lot more in the zeitgeist. That being said, it's hard for me not to agree with this take real
Okay.
quick because he did enjoy the NBA All-Star Game because I did too.
Mm-hmm.
But man, oh man. Can NBC please tell Reggie to stop telling us how hard everyone is playing or just cut off his mic? I'd settle for either option. I'm not going to lie to you. It was quite glaring. I had eyeballs. I could see they were playing hard too. You didn't need to say it. And I did stop counting after 4 times.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. Counter argument. Counter argument, just for the sake of it. He went on to say that's probably my biggest gripe, other than Reggie Miller telling
And
us that.
he was right.
And I could tell they were trying. So I think I don't hate the message so much as I hate the messenger in
That
this
might make
particular
sense.
case, because I had to watch Bill Simmons talk about the NBA on television for years. They were putting him on pregame shows and on the panel and stuff. And he was like,
did I completely miss Bill Simmons?
"You did."
Because when he had his own thing, what was it called?
Well, he had Grantland at ESPN.
I knew that, but what was the thing he did after that?
The Ringer.
The Ringer, okay.
He still has The Ringer.
When he got to when he was doing The Ringer, and then he had a show short term on HBO.
On HBO, yeah.
I remember when he got the show on HBO, I kind of sat there going like, I have no idea who this guy is. And keep in mind, I was playing at the time, so
you weren't
I wasn't
one of-
as entrenched in the media industry.
He was a
back
full
then.
for a few years. He was like fully doing NBA TV stuff.
Really?
For ESPN.
Okay, see, I missed a lot of that.
Okay. Well, it was just like unbearable.
I just know he's a Boston kind of homer,
yeah.
right?
He's sort of like he's just an unbearable like TV person.
Okay.
You can't argue that he's a successful podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I'm just not going to do that. Is he always for me? No, but you can't argue that.
Yeah.
You can't argue that he was a successful writer, but he's bad on TV, bad on that show, whatever. And particularly kind of insufferable to listen to talk about basketball. This is a person who still to this day will make 1980 Celtics references.
What?
In
What are you,
2026.
fucking Mad Dog? What do you, like...
Yes!
You're dropping
He's
Moses
Boston-
Malone stats on me in
Boston
2026?
Mad Dog. And so, like, to me, it's sort of like awfully rich coming from you. I do think that it was genuinely worth noting, maybe not as much as Reggie Miller did, that, like, they were trying. I think Reggie was surprised. Like, I think...
Okay, that actually would make a little bit more sense.
Like, I really think he was like, I've been watching these idiots not give a crap about this for years. And he's like, are you guys seeing this? Guys, they're trying. They're still trying. It's game 3 and they're still trying. Now, Reggie's never been the most skilled like communicator in terms of like calling games.
No,
or
he's
whatever.
just kind of a charming cat.
He's a guy, like he's likable enough. Like I love Reggie and Cheryl Miller together. Like they almost like can't do wrong because of their relationship and how like cool and the fact that he has always been such a supporter of his sister as like the better basketball player in their family, despite the fact that he was an exceptional NBA player.
Yes, he was.
So like I am a little lighter on Reggie than other people are, but I do understand that there's critiques to be made there. It just galls me when people who were worse at the job of talking about basketball.
That's fair. Okay, now I'm hearing what you're saying with this.
Because if Bill Simmons had been there, this is how it goes. You know, this is starting to look like 1991, guys, back in the Larry Bird's last year. That's how it would have gone. And so that man deciding that that's where.
Okay, there's context here that I'm just unaware of because I'm not in the Bill Simmons sphere. I'm just not. I've never been in the one thing I don't understand in the world, and that's funny for a guy that works in radio, TV, and podcasting and all this. I've never been in the podcasting sphere as far as listening to this like sports podcasts.
Okay,
I never, like. All the Pardon My Take guys.
He's like one of the OG podcasts.
I do know that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't understand like a lot of the Pardon My Take guys. I know they have a popular. Never heard a single thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
To this day, I've never watched or heard a thing Pat McAfee's ever done, and I even know Pat.
So this is just all organic.
No,
you have no inspo. This is just us.
No, my inspiration when it comes to radio are Howard Stern,
Yeah.
Mark and Brian, Kevin and Bean, like a bunch of
Who
radio.
is Mark and Brian?
So in Los Angeles in the 1980s to 90s. No, slow down.
No,
It started in the
I'm
80s.
I'm with you.
They retired in about 2000, I think, 12. They were Radio Hall of Famers. They were on KLOS for a long time, 95.5. I grew up in Los Angeles in a radio sphere that was just ridiculous. Like, truly. Like, Howard Stern was out in New York, but he was on 97.1 KLSX out here. Mark and Brian were on KLOS. These are two and Mark and Brian, if you go back and watch Beverly Hills 90210, especially those first 3-4 seasons.
I love Beverly Hills 90210.
They reference Mark and Brian almost every episode.
Oh, they do?
They were that popular. back
like
then.
that. Okay, so I watched that whole show. So
Go back
it
and
went
watch
right
it,
over my head.
and
Okay.
they will always mention Mark and Brian, especially when
Nice.
Brian Austin Green is running the school
Oh, yeah,
radio
the
station,
radio, yeah.
and he was like, "We should do it like Mark and Brian, like do that." So I ended up working for
It's
Mark
such
and
a
Brian.
generic name. So
Yes, it really
yeah.
is. So I ended up working for Mark and Brian.
Okay.
And
Shout out Mark and
They
Brian.
ended up being like big inspirations to me, and
Yeah.
like literally, they took me under their wing when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Because I used to call in, they had no idea I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I had Kevin and Bean on K Rock, and they were legends. We had Big Boy on Power 106. We had Rick Dees on Kiss FM.
I remember Rick Dees, 'cause he was national.
Yeah, so we had like. I grew up in just this spoiled, you turn a station and it's another radio Hall of Fame legend here in Los Angeles.
But not sports radio.
But never sports radio, because sports radio was not popular, or I should take that back. Sports radio wasn't available in Southern California. In fact, it still isn't available in Southern California. There is one sports station in Southern California, and it's ESPN Radio, and I've turned it on a total of 0 times since I've lived my entire life here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just a unique kind of market in that, like, the sports fans here are transplants, a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, there's 17
Yeah,
million people that live
if
here.
I'm going to throw on sports radio, I'm just like stream, well, I mean, ideally I would have something better to stream than anyone who's on WEI right now. But
Listen.
some of those people are my friends and cool.
Listen,
Those aren't who I'm talking about.
I got friends at WFAN. I got
Yeah.
friends at WEI. I got
Sports
friends
Hub.
at. Yep.
I got some friends at the Sports Hub, and so like I'm not. But I grew up in a big sports radio world. I mean, Boston sports media
Oh, yeah,
is
big
like
time.
like some of like the biggest sports media markets, like or sports radio markets are like New York, Boston, Philly. Like that whole trio is wild.
That's why I find LA so very fascinating. Like, I'm waiting for them to start getting
there's a
into
lot of
sports.
us out here.
Because there's so many sports fans out here, but it's also because it's LA and so many transplant people live here. It's like a mini national market. You don't need to just talk Dodgers and Lakers and Rams.
And it wouldn't, because like I always think about this, like we always used to talk about this on the Coward show, on Colin Coward's show, was that, he's like, wherever I live, I get invested in those teams a little bit extra. He's like, so like when I lived in Connecticut, I was really like, I would get really invested in the
You can't help
Patriots
it.
and like he's like, because everything's there. He's like, when we were in Bristol, Gillette wasn't far. New York wasn't far. So these teams, like, whatever. And he felt the same way living in Los Angeles and then going to Chicago, but so you could see a little uptick in those, like in conversations around those teams during that time, especially if they got good, which like, I don't know if Coward is like lucky for people, but like when he was in, Bristol, the Patriots were amazing. He moves to
LA.
Los Angeles. The Rams become amazing.
And now he's going
the
to
Lakers
Chicago.
win a title. And now he's going to Chicago. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback the Bears
Good
have
for you,
ever had,
Colin.
maybe.
Good for you,
so
Colin.
I'm giving Coward doesn't know I'm giving him the shout out, but I'm shouting him out for bringing anywhere he goes. But otherwise, so you do a little bit of the local market, but then you talk about sports broadly, and LA is very uniquely suited for that.
Very much.
The moral of the story, though, is Bill Simmons not cut out for it. He's still living in 1988. He's in Dorchester in 1988.
Yeah, that ain't it. He
No.
He's like, oh, when I was over in Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Sorry. I apologize for using
Yeah.
my vowels, you Boston
Gloucester.
people.
I have the next media corner.
Yes.
I have been dying to ask you about this because, and I really hope people please stick around to talk about baseball with us, because this is fascinating, and it's really less about baseball specifically than it
Yes.
is like what's going on with the broadcasting and like the trying to bring fans in. And I feel like I want fans to actually like weigh in on this stuff, because there's a lot of sports fans that would love baseball if baseball would get it right, and they don't.
They don't. And they're trying very hard to not get it right again right now.
The MLB telecasts are no longer going to indicate ball or strike using on-screen graphics.
No, they're not.
Now that they have the debut of ABS.
Yes, which,
So-
by the way, I don't like this ABS system.
So
that
can
they're
you
doing.
just make sure everybody knows what ABS is?
So the ABS system is more or less the system that is calling the balls or strikes, or
Yeah.
should I say, showing you visibly the balls and strikes.
Umpires
on
are
thing.
still calling them.
Umpires are still calling them. They fucking shouldn't.
The way you grab the mic. You don't even want umpires
I did.
anymore.
No. I think umpires are very useful out there, but I mean, if Challenge has not shown how absolutely not infallible umpires are
Right.
is an understatement.
Yeah.
The game has
So
moved
the
so much
AB
faster.
let's
So
make
the
sure. So the
ABS
ABS
system is
is-
specifically for balls and strikes.
It's the square.
It's the square
that
at home
shows
plate.
you with the little ball. Yes, which
So
is
when the
so
ball-
cool, by the way.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And they are keeping the box. They are
Right.
they're going to keep the visual box up for it, but they are no longer going to show the dot of where the ball goes through.
Which I hate.
And I think that creation
That was the coolest
for
part.
fans, and especially casual fans, is a brilliant thing on showing, one, just how difficult it is to hit. Because one thing I think they need to highlight in visual aspect of Major League Baseball is pitching. Because pitching to somebody that doesn't actually watch is like, what's so hard about this?
Right.
No. That's why the pitching ninjas of the world with overlay
I've
videos.
learned so much at watching that. Like, I've watched baseball for so much of my life, but like seeing what a like sinker will do, or like a curve or whatever, seeing a ball go like this and then curve up to the like right corner of the
Yeah,
strike zone.
it's
right?
insane.
And to see where the ball ends up, and it's like, yes, you can see it live and their box is there, but the circle kind of showing you exactly, it's visually very appealing
good.
and helpful.
Completely.
And so now it's just going to be the strike zone?
Just give me the strike zone, and the reason they're citing, I can't stress enough, doesn't make sense to me. If they're trying to make it out like, well, we're taking this away so we can get rid of a competitive advantage for anybody, explain to me what universe this gives a competitive advantage. Because those of you that remember the Astros cheating scandal, the Astros cheating scandal was not because they had the telecast of the ball game inside the dugout and they were calling out pitches. That's not what was taking place. What they had was an Edgertronic camera, which is a high frame rate camera that you put in center field that they would just move into the catcher's glove, and they had it connected to a literal laptop, which ran through an algorithm and basically deciphered the catcher's sign. So if I did 1 4 3 2 1 4 3 4 wiggle 2 1. This system would basically decipher what my sign sequence is in like 3 pitches.
Okay.
And then it would get it by at basically 98 to 100% correct going forward. And I'd have to, as a catcher, I'd have to change my sign system a ton to kind of balance that out, which, by the way, is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
So when I say that there's no competitive advantage to have the television, the way the ABS system is working, you're getting, I believe, 3 challenges a game where a hitter can call time and challenge a pitch in real time. They cannot look into their dugout and be told to challenge that pitch. They have to do it right then and there without asking anybody's help.
That's crazy.
I don't like this. I
Yeah.
don't get this. My problem with this is very simple. We already have the fucking answer. The ABS system clearly works. We
Right.
know what a ball and strike is. And by the way, this is also not an anti-umpire thing either, because umpires, and I'm going to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, it's not really their fault. The truth is, pitchers are just throwing so fucking hard with so much movement that the human eye just can't track it anymore. And those of you that are wondering, I miss the old days when the hitters were better and they could hit 300. The hitters are better now than they've ever fucking been in the history of baseball, unquestionably. The pitchers, however, are just so much better because if you watch the movie The Rookie starring Dennis Quaid, a movie I do not like, there's a line in that movie that sticks out to me over and over and over again. And it's when he's like, honey, they clocked me at 97 miles per hour. And she's like, is that good? He's like, do you know how many pitchers in Major League Baseball can throw a 97 mile per hour fastball? You can count them on one hand. That was in like 2001. It's 2026. You can count on one hand how many guys can't sit at 97
Right,
plus.
right.
The game is just changed. The spin rate of pitches have changed. The movement. You're talking about the movement that you've seen with this ABS system that you watch in every single Major League
Yeah.
Baseball game. The movement is so dramatic. Hitters can't hit it or pick it up. Umpires can't pick out by the millimeter exactly where these balls cross a plate. This is not about umpires being bad. It's about the game is just outgrowing them, and we have a digital system in place that can get this right every single time. Why are we not using it? Fuck if I know.
So here's the thing: is like I'm actually okay with letting umpires still call balls and strikes. What I don't understand is if you are a even borderline casual viewer, somebody who watches, let's say, post All-Star baseball or playoff baseball every year, but otherwise you're just, whatever. You know the rules, whatever. Getting to see the balls and strikes kind of laid out and then comparing it to how the umpires call it is part of the like the what the fuck refs
Yeah.
moment is part of watching sports. You're taking so like I actually like getting to see something that looks like it's like if the ABS shows me really clearly that was inside, you know, and it was like that was in the strike zone, right? And he calls it a ball, right? I see it. It's in the strike zone. It's clearly in there, right on the corner. Calls it a ball. That's good for me as a fan.
To me, it's the exact opposite.
No, because you're a baseball player. So like for me, as a fan, I watch every sport mad at the refs. Baseball's not going to turn me away because I know he made a bad call.
It's not going to turn me away either. But I did watch, and I might be a little off here because I'm just using my memory. I didn't do the research on this beforehand. But last year during the playoffs, I think it was the Mariners in Game 7 against the Blue Jays. There was basically 2 strike 3 calls in the 9th inning that basically knocked the Mariners out of the playoffs.
But Cody, you would have known they were bad calls without even an ABS.
True.
I can't tell that. My eye, unless it is way outside or like whatever, I can't see it.
Which is why I hate that they're taking this away from you.
That's my point. Is like I can't be mad at the umpire if I don't know to be mad at the
That is
umpire because
fair.
now I need the announcer. By the way, and if I don't trust who's the color guy, like if I'm
Which
just
is
not
often.
feeling John Smoltz, then I don't trust that what he's saying. Now I've got ABS and I can look at Chris and be like, that was a strike.
Yes.
And that's good for me because unless it's wildly outside or if it's wildly low or high or whatever, like it's hard for me to always tell.
I think I know why they're doing it then. Based on, I think I just realized based on what your argument is, and I don't like what I'm about to say to you. I think it's simply this. If they get 3 challenges on the ABS system a game, they are just trying to make those challenges more dramatic by keeping you in the dark.
But like,
I don't agree with that.
But
by
I'm
the way.
more like now to me, it's like if I'm watching, so I can handle it, right? Because I'm like a good enough fan that I can like handle. My mom is gonna have no idea what's going on, and that thing actually helped her.
Yeah,
she was like, okay, like now I have a sense of like what's up. And my mom's watched a lot of baseball in her life, you're right. Like, okay, now we're gonna create drama. They want to create the drama of the NFL replay. They want to create the drama of the Premier League stuff that they do. Where
that's what they're trying to do.
Review. And to me, like that works when you are in a game that like doesn't like your game's already based on so much standing around.
Yes. And you know what? And baseball's done it, and I got to give baseball credit real quick. They've done a good job of bringing in new fans these last couple of years. This would be, in my opinion, turning some away.
Like, do you think baseball players aren't standing around enough? You have guys out there doing interviews while playing games. You're going to make us stand around even more?
That's a different conversation of something I truly despise that they do in baseball that I would like to be
I'm not surprised.
Just gutted out of the game, please. I think it's in-game interviews is my least favorite thing that has ever taken place in baseball.
There is that really funny one. I forget who it is.
Mookie Betts in right field.
No, it's not Mookie.
Come on.
No.
That was the only time I've ever enjoyed
No,
this.
there's another one where he was like, hold on, so I got to go make this catch. It wasn't Mookie.
Oh, I think it was Miguel Rojas, also a ground ball.
Yeah.
But there was Mookie when he was on the Red Sox during spring training. When a ball was hit over him, and he immediately said, I don't think I'm getting this one, boys. That was one of the very few times I was like gold, but it never happens that way.
But Miguel Rojas, I think it was, he was like, hold on, I got to go make this catch. And then he did it, and he came back, and he was like, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Had to make that play. And it was a pretty nice play, too.
But like, like the pace of play and the intensity of football, like, okay, we're waiting for the view, blah, blah, we've got whatever. There's only 4 pass interference calls potentially maybe in a NFL game. There's balls and strikes on every
I
don't need the suspense.
You don't.
You just started making it faster by giving us a pitch clock, and now you're going to slow it down. So I'm really frustrated with it. You're frustrated with it, even with the few things that we kind of see differently about it. Like the reality is like, I can watch baseball all I want. There are some things my naked eye is just not seeing.
And by the way, those umpires' naked eye can't see it either, which is why I'm so annoyed by this, because if you have this ABS challenge system, it means you already have the answer. So what are we doing? If you still want to make sure umpires are calling the game, there's a way around this. If you have the ABS system, why not give the home plate umpire access to said ABS system, whether they're wearing augmented reality glasses that put them in those Oakley Meta glasses and show them what the strike zone is and they can see what goes in and out of it.
Not the Oakley Meta glasses.
Maybe give them a buzzer in their ear that just buzzes when it's a strike, so on a borderline call,
Well, then
they
you
know
can
where to
hack
lean.
it and cheat. I don't care.
Fine. I don't care. Just fucking stop making me do this.
I miss cheating in baseball. I want more cheating. I want more cheating. I want more steroids. I want it all. I want it all back. I want cheating in everything at this point.
Well,
Quite
if
honestly,
the Olympics have shown me anything, cheating is very in vogue right now.
Love
Canada, I'm looking at you, you curling
beautiful.
players.
All right. Well, that was Media Corner.
That was Media Corner. Now let's debut a new segment.
We're
it's simply
debuting
this.
segments, baby.
Hills we're dying on, baby. And Tanya, why don't you go ahead and go first on the hill today that you are dying
So
on?
the hill I'm dying on this week is that women's basketball is the cultural centerpiece, the sort of culture setter, trend setter, speaking to everything that we care about in culture right now that NBA used to be. And I think that like it really hit home for me when I was watching Unrivaled and these other things this weekend, but it's been really kind of I've been noticing this more and more over the last year or so, is that like we got a lot of eyeballs on women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark. And great, love that. But like Caitlin Clark was injured a lot of this past season, so it really kind of let other things shine, like other parts of the WNBA come through. Fashion-wise, I don't know if you ever end up on WNBA or women's basketball, like the fashion, you always see
they're walking in
the entrances,
obviously
all that stuff, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty sweet.
Like by far the most fashionable league in terms of like on trend,
No question.
whatever else. They are all, and this is why the NBA used to be kind of in this lane too, is that they're all specimens. Like these are the tallest, leanest, like most athletic, fittest people you could find on planet Earth, which is, the NBA used to be, that was part of it, was like, there's a reason models are tall, right? And so now you've got like the tallest athletes rolling in these like insane outfits. They are the most politically outspoken.
Yes.
By a mile, even compared to other women's sports, they are the most politically outspoken. They are the best at social media because they're still like, they don't make $300 million. They aren't like people they're still close enough to the like proletariat, but they're also famous as hell. Few of them are rich, but like not all of them are. And like, it reminds me of the early 2000s basketball, when you and I were like high school age, right? Where it was like Allen Iverson and like the Nets, and like there were all these like people in pop culture, and it was like MJ was on the way out, LeBron was coming in, Kobe was already a star, there was Shaq, and they would be in movies and commercials, and everything back then was traditional media. So it's different now because it's much more social media, internet based. But like, you could be an NFL fan, you could be a baseball fan, you could be any other sport fan, but like if you wanted to be cool, you had to know what was going on in the NBA. You had to,
question.
like, that was the coolest league.
Dude, the NBA in the 90s the NBA in the 90s leaked into so many other sports. Like, baseball was cool because all of a sudden Ken Griffey Jr. is out there rocking a backwards hat. And, like, Barry Bonds has got this big-ass dangly earring. And the NBA players are just all like, everyone was cool.
They were setting every cultural trend. They were the ones with the
So
music, like, if there was a rap, like a crossover into rap and hip hop, it was NBA players. It was like everything was defined so much by like hip hop and NBA in the 90s and the early 2000s. And that to me is what women's basketball is becoming. And I think that I'm like on the early trend of like recognizing this. And yes, it is more social media and internet based than like mass pop culture, because again, like this is women. We're still dealing with we're dealing with sexism and racism because we're talking about women and majority black women. So we've got misogynoir in the mix. So it's going to take a little while to like get us where we need to go. But like, I wish if you are not paying attention to women's basketball, that like you would, because it's not, the personalities are better. They're funny. They're so good at social media. They are the ones on trend. They're doing the dances. They're just all so on it in a way that like the NBA has just become elitist and out of touch outside of, you know, the few people that like kind of break through. Like Steph Curry's investing in like drone companies and stuff. Like these people are like super villains at this point, like in the NBA. They have too much money. We need like organic people to root for. And basketball, I'm telling you, like these, I wasn't a women's basketball fan. Chris was. The reason I started watching the NBA was because Chris like taught me about it. He was a huge Phoenix Mercury fan.
Interesting.
I have always covered the NBA. I've always been an NBA person. I came from Boston. I covered the Celtics. Like I did not start watching the NBA till a few years ago, like maybe a year or two before Caitlin Clark. And even then, I wasn't covering it. I wasn't talking about it. I still don't know the women's game the way I do the men's game at all.
Same, but I do watch women's basketball.
Right.
Now. I
And-
do watch the W.
And it's like, recently I tweeted, I was like, or I posted on Threads that I genuinely think the product that the women's game is putting out, competitive wise, like the entertainment of the games and the way that they are competing and playing the game, the fundamentals of what they're doing is just a better product than the NBA right now.
Interesting.
And people were mad.
I mean,
And
I don't think you're that
but,
far off.
Yeah, people
I
were
mean,
pretty mad. And like the thing is like, I think when people hear someone talk about the WNBA or hype the WNBA or hype women's basketball, especially when it's a woman, they're like pandering.
Yeah,
She
woke.
thinks yeah. And it's like, I don't think you guys understand. I like the I like the NBA better. Because I am more, I am more familiar with and entrenched in NBA.
Yeah.
I can talk about the NBA on a whim. I have like such a deep knowledge base. I have to learn so much about women's basketball still. And so like, this is not me. If you're going off of what I have watched, what I have invested in my whole entire adult life, it does not behoove me to say that about the NBA. I'm going to cover them more than I'm going to cover women's basketball because right now I'm still learning that game and I'm still learning those leagues. But like, it's just the reality of what I watched.
Yeah.
So I'm dying on the hill that like right now, the best like sport that is like showing us that is giving us actual like culture and from whether it's fashion, politics, like social media, all that stuff is women's basketball. And if you're not in on it, you're missing out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Although I have not chimed into anything of the Unrivaled stuff yet, and I need to, and that's kind of a misstep on my part.
Go back and watch some of the 1v1 stuff. You'll enjoy it.
I will definitely dig that. My hill I'm dying on is of the similar ilk. And it is about a little bit about the WNBA, not the WNBA, the NBA, but more so about Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is about to hit a CBA, and it's going to get ugly. I don't know what to say other than it's going to be very, very, very ugly, and I'd be shocked if we don't have a work stoppage. And I have not been quiet on another hill that I'm willing to die on, which is simply this. The Dodgers are doing exactly what all of the owners want them to do. I firmly, firmly believe that the Dodgers overspending is part of a grander plan to make sure there is a salary gap between the Dodgers and other teams to the point where every team cries poor and uses the Dodgers as a Trojan horse in the next CBA as the reason why they need a salary cap in Major League Baseball. It's no longer the players are greedy. No. It's the Dodgers are greedy. That's what they're trying to do right now. And we're seeing it left and right with a lot of posts from media members. We're seeing it in interviews left and right. The Dodgers on everybody's voice. And listen, people are mad at the Dodgers, and I don't blame them for being mad at the Dodgers. But if you ask around Major League Baseball and the players, they ain't mad at the Dodgers. The players are like, I love what the Dodgers are doing. Why isn't everyone else fucking doing it? A question I ask on a daily basis. I know the answer, and so do you. Money. Billionaires don't like spending money. They like making money. The Dodgers made $1 billion in revenue last year. I want to say that again. In revenue last year, which means both Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani are already paid off, and they have 20 years to pay off said contracts. Pretty impressive. And also now we're seeing a lot of influx of one-year contracts being signed right now by players in Major League Baseball. Seeming like agents are pulling their players aside going, bro, just sign the one-year deal because we have no idea what it's going to look like in a year. So the reason why I mentioned that this has to do with the NBA and what a hill I'm actually looking to die on here is simply this. The NBA is proof that a salary cap doesn't work. How do I mean by that? Well, we just watched Adam Silver give a lot of interviews this last week talking about how there are teams that are tanking. We talked about the two teams last week, Utah and the Pacers for tanking, who were both fined a total of $600,000 collectively for tanking.
By the way, Pacers who were
Won their
literally-
game, by the way.
And the Pacers who were one of the best teams in the NBA last
Yes.
year. Suffered an injury from their star. So.
But they go ahead and they get a $500,000 fine for tanking, and so did the Utah Jazz. I believe they got a $100,000 fine for tanking. So you got this problem of tanking, and now you have Adam Silver going even a step further, saying we actually have a very big problem with tanking, and we need to figure out ways to fix it. There has been the idea of getting rid of the draft. If you think getting rid of the draft and making every college player a free agent out the gate is somehow a better move, I would love to see any data point or number or stat to fucking prove that to me, because right now you're just telling me you're creating like a new NIL mess on your hands. There's just no universe that would work. Major League Baseball has a draft, yet nobody seems to tank for their draft because a Major League Baseball draft is simply just different than every other draft because they have to go into a minor league system. There are very few surefire first draft picks.
If anything, what you're saying is actually like an argument for the because the NHL is the same way.
Yes.
Have minor leagues.
Yes.
Because that you're right. Before you said this, I never considered, and I have covered sports my whole life. It has never considered to me to really, or it never occurred to me to sit and consider for real the fact that MLB teams and NHL teams don't tank.
No. They don't tank.
They just suck. Now, for different reasons, because there is a salary cap in the NHL. There isn't in baseball.
No.
But they don't tank.
They don't. No one tanks. Now, there are teams that don't spend. I'm looking at you,
Right.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
But
I'm looking at you, Cincinnati
But
Reds.
all those players are still because of the salary cap thing, they can all be pretty well paid. They're close, you just put together a bunch of lower paid, less talented dudes. Sometimes they go. I mean, the Arizona Diamondbacks made the World Series.
Yes, they did.
But
But then you're getting into the Moneyball conversation. Well, we're just spending less money and trying to do things that way, which, by the way, is your right
Isn't
to do.
tanking.
It's not tanking. You're just trying to find other ways to do it. The Pirates have been trying to develop forever.
leads to innovation, if anything.
Yeah, and listen,
Yeah.
there are times where that works. But Major League Baseball doesn't have a salary cap. And I would make the argument up until these last 2 years, parity in Major League Baseball has been fantastic for the last 30 years. There's been a different winner every few years. Now, yeah, you have a couple outliers.
I mean, ever since Hal Steinbrenner's son took over, or
Yankees
Hal
have
is
won.
the son.
Yankees have won one World Series in
Yeah,
that time.
ever
The Red
since he
Sox
stopped
won
spending
3.
money, yeah.
The Giants have won 3. Yet everyone forgot the Giants have even won 1 World Series.
Not me.
Yeah, it's been.
Because those were great, and the Astros, I don't really care so much about the cheating with the Astros. I used to, I don't anymore. But there was a lot of. It's not even just who's winning; it's also who's making it. The Mets have played in a World Series.
Yes, I can't stress this enough.
The Cleveland Guardians have played in a World Series.
And those of you that think,
the
oh, well,
Cubs won a World
in
Series
2016, this drives me nuts that
Yeah.
you were well, we need a salary cap because of this. Bitch, you need a salary floor. That's what you actually need. You need to force certain teams to spend money.
I've been saying that part forever. So I love this hill because a salary floor in the MLB, it's actually crazy that it doesn't exist.
It's
If you're not
insane.
going to have a cap, you 100% have to have a floor. Every single one of these teams can spend however much it is. Whatever the average roster spent, what is it at? 150 million at this point or something?
Yeah,
like
well,
that?
so I believe whatever the soft. By the way, there's already a soft cap with that luxury tax
Yeah.
thing, which, by the way, isn't real. Just like anything else, it's just a false thing that people are using as a soft cap.
Right. But the average roster, they should just, this is what you do. You go, what is the league average roster? You go to 20% below that. That's the floor.
It doesn't seem that unfair to me.
Yeah.
So the fact that we are sitting here talking about a salary cap in Major League Baseball, which, by the way, is the reason we're going to have a work stoppage because those owners want a salary cap so bad. The NBA is proving right now to you why you don't need one. And that salary cap's flat out, for fuck's sake, do not work. The only thing they work at is making billionaires more billions.
I mean, especially to your point, and it should be noted that in the NBA, at least you're getting exactly who the superstar players are and which draft classes are great.
Yes.
The NBA and the NFL have drafts where you know who the top players are that you can tank for and what years it's good to do that for. the MLB that's useless to you. So now, like, I mean, their product, I can't even imagine how bad it would be. Like, you're 1,000% right. And I'm honestly scared now.
Yeah. So, guys, I don't know what's going to happen to Major League Baseball this next year. I just know this. The Players Union, as a union I was in, there is like one rule just etched in stone. We will never say yes to a salary cap. And for fuck's sake, you better live up to that word, Players Association.
Stay on top of your shit, guys. We're rooting for you.
I am rooting for you big time. And that is the hills that we are dying on.
Cody.
Yes.
I'm excited to debut this segment because it really does feel appropriate for the end of a little bit of wine, yapping, which is I want you to let me ask you something.
Ask away.
So that's the name of the segment is Let Me Ask You Something. Sort of a, you know, when you're sitting at the bar, just talking, drinking, and then eventually you get to like asking people kind of random questions about themselves, what's going on with them, whatever. And you know, we're new friends. We've gotten pretty close pretty quickly, but like still learning a lot about you. And so this is something that I tend to ask basically everybody once I feel like I like them enough to know this about them.
Okay.
And that is, you've got one musical artist. You can bring their whole discography, but like you are on a desert island and you can only listen to this musician or this artist or this band for the rest of your life or the rest of the time you're on this island. You're stranded. This is all you got. Them and their whole discography. Who are you taking with you? What is the one artist you're like, that's the or band or whatever, music that you could survive off of?
So I have thought about this question many and many times.
Okay.
So I'm going to give my answer this way before I give you the band.
Okay.
My thought, because I listen to a wide variety of music.
Yes, and I love finding out about people's music interests. That's why I like this one.
So
Because like music is so important to me. I know it is to you.
Yeah, I find myself most often, honestly, listening to something like folk music most often. Something a little more relaxing, a little more
Right.
calming. It's not my favorite genre, but it's what I find myself listening to the
Vibe-wise,
most often.
different vibes require different things. Yeah.
I love early 90s hip hop. Oh, God, I love early 90s hip hop. I dig me some yacht rock.
Okay. Oh, me too.
But I got to say, as a product of the 90s and the early 2000s specifically, I would honestly say my favorite genre, and I go back and forth off obviously, is probably alternative rock, which
Okay.
is, you know, a mixture of hard rock, grunge, heavy metal,
Yeah.
and punk music, which, you know, the Green Days of the world
Yep.
fit under this thing. The Weezers of the world fit under this thing. But those aren't the bands I'm choosing, even though I've seen both bands in concert multiple times.
Okay.
I'm picking another band. And the reason I'm picking this band is for a couple of
So
reasons.
excited to find out. You're really leaving me hanging.
I saw this band live this last year in Edinburgh, Scotland. It was the single greatest show I've ever seen. And the reason I'm picking them is not only because they are probably my favorite band, I am picking them because the wide range of sound that they produce. They have hard rock band songs. They have slow, easy acoustic mix songs. They have a mixture of both. They have two singers that give you two different vibes. I'm looking at you, Gallagher Brothers. Thank you for getting back together. Oasis is my pick. Also, they would
Wow.
fight each other so much on that island just for my
Wait,
entertainment.
I love it. I love that in your version of this, they're with you playing the
They
music
are
live for you.
No. This is a live show, and they are going to fight at the end of every fucking show on this island. Oasis is my answer.
I was giving you a record player, but you know what? You brought the
No,
band
no,
and
I want
love
the
that for you.
Gallaghers, and I want
I
Bonehead
love that
too.
for you.
I
I
want
love
them
that
all.
for you. I did not see that coming. I was really trying to figure out where you were going. Oasis. Okay. I found this out. I did not know you were that big of an Oasis fan.
Huge.
I love Oasis. Like, I mean, we grew up with some of those songs are just like in my blood at this
Yeah.
point. And Liam Gallagher on Twitter is one of
Is-
my OG like icons.
Chef's kiss.
There are two people who
Him and
who,
KD.
like, no, it's actually not KD. There's two people above KD. It's Liam Gallagher and Jose Canseco.
Okay, I can see that.
And like some of the funniest shit I've ever seen, ever tweeted. It's not even intentionally funny. It's not even like it's so fun, like perfect. So yeah, I love this. I love this pick. And I do think that like the idea of the genre switch, like the fact that they within their genre have different sounds. That was like a big thing I think about all the time when I think about my answer to this question. Just for the record, my answer is Whitney Houston.
Okay, I can see that. I get that.
Because again, we've got ballads, we've got pop, we've got like all kinds of. She does like a lot of different stuff within that. There's stuff that's more gospel. There's stuff that's more like jazzy.
I get it.
And I think she's the greatest singer of all time. Like vocalist of all time.
It's pretty.
So it's her and like I don't know. There's like a few, there's the divas who I think are sort of elite. The great singers, the Hers, the Aretha Franklins, Mariah's, and the Celine Dion's, and then there's the rock singers. There's like the Chris Cornell is probably like my great rock singer. Like my favorite
he is
rock
probably
singer.
at the very tippy top of my rock voice list
like
as well.
rock guys. And like Roger Daltrey from The Who, like there's like all these whatever. So like if I could put them all together, those are my favorite types of performers. Are just elite.
But when
vocalists,
Chris Cornell sings "Pretty Noose," it's there. I remember when I first heard that song, I remember saying out, and I was like 12 when that song came out.
Yeah.
I remember saying out loud as a 12-year-old, like, I don't think another human being alive can sing this.
No, it's insane.
Like
it's insane.
only Chris Cornell can sing this.
And the weird part is, and he's not as good of a singer, but Chris Stapleton has like a very
he's got a
similar
great
sound
voice. Yes, he
to
does.
Chris Cornell. And so like sometimes I'm like, I wish he would cover some more Chris Cornell.
Dude,
like,
I never
he
thought of that.
sounds
He
a
does
lot
got
like
a little
him.
bit of Chris Cornell to him.
He doesn't fully have the top end of Chris Cornell's like
Yeah, he can't sing
range.
Jesus Christ Pose, but he can
But,
maybe sing a couple tones.
He's really like listen to him and
Black
he's
Hole
got
Sun,
the
he can crush.
exact tone and like everything. It's wild. Anyways, we could talk about this forever, but don't you feel closer now?
I
that we know
do.
this about each other.
So
Yes.
here's my question for you. It's
Yes.
very simple. I have found out that it's a Chinese New Year tomorrow, and it's the year of the fire horse, and I'm learning a lot of things
Yes.
about said fire horse. I'm going to ask you this as a two-part question. One, are you going to be doing anything for said Chinese New Year? And is there, like, in that realm of mysticism and things that are otherworldly that we celebrate and pontificate on, like, all these things in the year of the fire horse?
Yeah.
What was the first thing you ever got to do that you started to believe that maybe the universe was bigger when it comes to
Ooh.
mysticism?
Oh, I love that. Okay. Wow, what a great question. Okay, so you're the fire horse. My best friend has been talking about this.
Yes.
Like everybody's been really excited to be moving out of what is it? We've been in Snake or Rabbit?
I thought we were just in Mercury retrograde.
No, different.
Oh, sorry. I feel like we've been in it for 10
We've
years.
either been in have we been in the year of the snake or the year whatever. Everybody's been telling me about this. I have sort of been in like a New Year rut of like I've been telling you I'm trying to like get more sleep, get myself back to the gym, do all these things. I know there's a bunch of things you're supposed to do to like reset the energy,
Yes.
whatever. I already believe in resetting the energy outside of Chinese New Year. I'm a big like do ritualistic things to just like put your mind and your energy in the right place moving forward in some capacity. Like if I like anything that I'm like, okay, now this is like a new start. It could be a random Tuesday. I can reset the energy. So normally if I'm like a reset the energy in that mode, the two things I always focus on are sleep, gym, and eating the exact time that I wish I could eat every day.
Smart.
Because those are the three things that I like need the most to stay in like a good routine. Everything good happens to me when those things are aligned.
I love that.
I think that's different for everybody. I think like different people have the thing that they need every day for their like life to be aligned. My life is best when I am sleeping at like a very specific pace, and I don't sleep a lot. So like I need 6.5 hours. I would love 7. If I get 7.5, everything's great.
By the way, I agree with you on the
Yes.
like the best thing ever is just having a regimen that you are able to just fall
And it's those
into.
three. Everything else in between, like if chores, like whatever else. How soon do I get my work done? All that stuff. I can vacillate on that, but like go to sleep and get the same amount of sleep every night. Then get to the gym, same time. And the big thing for me is eating. I have very ADHD eating habits. So tomorrow, well, it'll have to start tonight. I have to be asleep by 11 p.m. because that means that if I wake up at 6 a.m., I've gotten 7 hours. So sleep by 11, then eat at noon sharp. Not a breakfast person. I don't get hungry in the morning. It's
Okay.
how my brain and my body works. But if I don't eat by noon, I won't eat until 5. So we eat by noon.
I do that too.
I know.
God, I do
Eat
that
by noon and Jim. So because tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday are podcast off days, Jim will be in the afternoon. So Jim will be at 2 p.m. And this, I know it's lame, but like that's my reset.
Okay.
And if I do that 3 days in a row, if I start out the year of the fire horse like that, 3 days in a row, that's all I need.
I'll be at the gym early tomorrow morning.
I'm gonna be worth millions by the end of the year if I do that.
Yes, you are.
And then the second part of the question is like the first sort of moment that I like had a bigger relationship to mysticism. And I have this really wild story that like, so it's very me coded. When I was 9, my mom reads cards. My mom reads playing cards, not tarot cards. She has been a card reader my whole life. When I was 9 years old, I wrote into the local newspaper because someone had been talking about how people who do card readings and palm readings and like all this stuff are not religious. Like they're essentially that they're blasphemous, right?
Oh, okay.
Like there was this whole
They're witches.
yeah, like false prophet,
Salem witch trialing this shit?
literally.
Jesus.
Like there was this whole and I remember being like genuinely. I'm 9 years old, journalist already, offended, fact checking. So I wrote a submission into the local paper. I think it was the Patriot Ledger, and like wrote a whole thing about how like I was like I don't know necessarily like at the time it's like I wasn't particularly religious. I had gone to like church as a kid or whatever. I eventually went to a middle school that was like a Catholic middle school. Wasn't for me, whatever. But like I did know I had some sort of spirituality, and I remember thinking like I know my mom is a good person, and I know she's so smart and so like loving and caring and like dedicated to this thing that she does. Like she just is, and I've seen how it helps people and affects people. And I wrote a little like thing into the newspaper saying like, you know, there were prophets in the Bible. Like they talk about people who tell the future and tell you about what's going on and talk about what the message is and giving people guidance and giving people like a sense of like what their purpose is and what they're meant to do. That's like the whole thing. Right? Like that was like the whole thing. I'm like, how is that any different? And why is that blasphemous if somebody's able to do that for people now while not calling themselves like, not doing it in the name of religion, not doing it in the name of anything other than like, you know, being like, giving people guidance and a sense of purpose and like and forward momentum and a clarity on what's going on in their lives. And I think in that moment I realized I was not necessarily ever going to fit in with traditional religion.
Yeah.
I don't know that I like at 9, I don't know that I was able to fully like have the conversation with myself, but that was the first time I remember being like, oh man, if you think this about people, like if you think this about somebody who is like a genuinely great member of their community who does like a great thing and has all these people who are so loyal to them and loves them so much and feels inspired, you know, and who never, my God, I've been begging my mom to charge people more for 25 years.
I can't wait for her to charge me so much money.
If she was doing this out in LA, I mean, truly, like she doesn't do it for the money. She doesn't do it. She's never made a living off of it. She's never made any goddamn money off of it. It's literally, she's got a few clients. It's just like, and ever since then, I was sort of like, I know that there's something bigger out there, but anybody who would say this, any religion that would say this is not for me. And basically every religion kind of in some way, shape or form has a like real issue with the idea of people
exclusionary. Yeah.
Right. And so that was the moment that I like decided like, I think I'm going to have a different relationship to spirituality, to mysticism, to the universe itself. And it's worked out quite well for me. I've gotten really into astrology, just like every astrology girly in LA, which really just landed me in the most basic possible situation.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say other than I like it. I do know about your mom.
Yeah.
And I'm
She's gonna
fascinated.
be here next week.
I cannot wait for her to be here. I can't wait to meet her. But I'm still amazed that you, as a 9-year-old, wrote into a paper for this.
It's the most me shit of all time, bro.
It is. That's about as Tanya as it fucking gets.
Yeah. I was like, have some things to say. It was like on a word processor.
Well,
it was like
the reason why I brought that up is, you know this.
Yeah.
This is all fairly new to me.
Yes.
Now, I'm not a religious guy. I'm Jewish by blood, and I appreciate appreciate my heritage very much, but I've always been very adamant I don't really subscribe to any real religion. It's not for me. That's fine. But I don't sit here and pretend that the universe is not a vast and dynamic place, and
Yeah.
and it is not lost on me. And I think Ethan Hawke gave this incredible answer once.
We were just talking about Ethan Hawke last night. We love Ethan Hawke.
I'm a big Ethan Hawke
Yeah.
fan, but Ethan Hawke was on the Colbert, not the Colbert Report, the Late Show with
Yep.
Stephen Colbert, and he asked him, he did the questions, the short questions that he answered, and he asked him, "What do you think happens after we die?" And Ethan Hawke gave what I thought was a very mature and interesting answer, where he said, he's like, "Are you ready? I don't think we understand the divine nature of time. I think we understand a clock as good as a dog does. And I think there's something much larger out there that is simply not within our capacity to understand." And he's like, "And I am not smart enough or spiritual enough to properly answer that question." And that was the first time I ever heard that answer, where I said, someone sees this exact answer the exact same way I do.
Brother definitely watched Interstellar.
Yeah. But I
But
appreciated that.
that's kind of how I felt when I watched Interstellar.
Yeah.
It was like whatever that is, that's my religious belief.
Yeah,
Like there is a relationship to time and love and space and energy.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't know what it is.
me
but
neither.
Yeah.
And I'm very confident I never will.
Yeah.
But have as of late opened myself up to the concepts of mysticism a little bit more. I'm not saying I'm a full-on believer, but
I
I
know.
am. But I'm definitely.
I don't
listening.
think it's an accident that a few things coincidentally entered your life in a very similar time frame. I'm just saying, like very, very mystical women, perhaps. Yeah.
You are very mystical, as is your mother.
Yeah.
That is unquestionable.
And others.
And possibly others. But
Yeah.
no, it's just it's interesting to me. And I like anything that gives people a sense of justice and purpose in the world. I
Yeah.
think that's a good thing. That's what I think religion should be used for.
Mm.
Unfortunately, religion, in my opinion, is wielded too much as a weapon by those who see the opportunistic nature of religion being a weapon.
Yeah.
That's what turns me off to religion.
Yeah, I think the way we talk about politics on the show, we're going to get accused a lot of being like anti-Christian and all these things. And that's just, it couldn't be further from
No,
the truth.
I'm
We're just
anti certain
people-
Christians.
People using your religion as a cudgel or as a way to control how other people live their lives. And that will always be the case. It will never not be the case. And that does not, like, I refuse to let people rob me of the things that I believe in my humanity, because I don't ascribe it to a specific religion. I don't need some rule book to tell me how to love people, how to care for people, how to care for my neighbor, how to have empathy and sympathy and grace for other human beings. I've never fucking needed a rule book for that one time in my whole life. It's come naturally to me because I was raised to be loved, and I was raised loved and to be loving. And that has always extended into my life. And I've learned my lessons across the course of life without anybody on a podium or on a stage telling me exactly what I need to do to be a good person. Because if I needed to be told to be a good person, I wouldn't fucking be one.
Couldn't agree more. And I mean, I mentioned my perspective on like sports and like where I've played and what I've done. That perspective still resonates with me in life too, because like I said, I'm born and raised in Santa Monica, California. I couldn't be luckier if I tried. I was born and raised in a beautiful home and community and city. I had very loving parents who taught me how hard I need to work to succeed in life. And I also have taken those lessons and seen how other people live. And all it's done is make me more appreciative of the life I've been afforded to live, because of opportunistic nature of me being born from here. Like, I had hitting coaches that were the Dodgers hitting. My hitting coach as a child was Reggie Smith. At the time, Reggie Smith was the Los Angeles Dodgers hitting coach. So after he was done hitting with me,
Yeah.
he went and worked with Eric Karros, Mike Piazza, and Raul Mondesi.
Yeah.
Like, that's not real life.
No,
And-
the luck that you and I have like walked into
Is simply that.
The first day of my internship, the reason I have my career, I walked into a newsroom on my first day of my only internship I ever had to do out of college college, and immediately met somebody with 11 NBA title rings standing in front of me. Like, that was the person I like immediately was working with him. That's insane.
It's nuts.
not.
Listen, it's not lost on me how lucky I am. But I'm also appreciative of said luck, that I will work my ass off to the bone to honestly, to kind of not necessarily to pay back what luck I was given.
Yeah. Well, I think that luck is a part of every successful person's journey, and not acknowledging it just makes you an insufferable asshole.
Yes.
Like, you can't change the fact that you had it.
No.
Acting like it didn't happen to you.
No, that's why I think, God, it's funny. I think it's been going around the internet. Bo Burnham, who's probably my favorite comedian, had a great thing where he's talking about, he's like, I'm so tired of like all these celebrities telling you to follow your dream. He's like, Taylor Swift telling you to follow your dream is like a lotto winner saying, cash it all in and spend it on lottery tickets. It works. Listen, a lot of it is, yes, talent is involved, but there is an outrageous amount of luck involved as well.
Yeah. And an outrageous amount of your very wealthy white family moving you to Nashville and pushing you into, like, putting you into the rooms that you needed to be in.
Yeah.
And being 5'10" and blonde and a teenager. That, you know, there's just so many things. It's like, that doesn't mean that she wasn't talented. I think she actually.
I think she's exceedingly
I think she used to
talented.
write incredible songs. I don't think she does anymore. But as a, like, the stuff she was writing as a teenager, incredible.
Yeah, incredible stuff. But I'm just, by the way, I'm
yeah.
not trying to pick on Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift, but I'm just using that as an example.
No. But I mean, like, I will say that the last couple albums,
I did not like the last one.
I miss.
What was it? Diary of a Showgirl?
Of a. Sorry,
Was
I
that
don't
what it
know.
was? I listened to 3 songs. I'm like, this is not
Yeah,
good.
I don't think
Although
I
did like, what was the album? The 2 albums ago, I really did. Like
I liked the one.
Midnights.
Yes,
I like that
I think
album.
I liked that one too.
Lavender Haze is a jam. Karma's a jam.
Is that? Are those the? Is that that album?
Yeah,
I don't know.
because Lavender Haze opens up. Meet me at midnight.
I'm more of a Cowboy Carter girl.
Ah, see, that's where you lose me.
Yeah,
I was
sorry.
enjoying this pop version of her,
Yeah.
and then these last 2 albums kind of sucked.
You don't like Cowboy Carter?
It's not for me.
Wow,
not
man,
for
you're
me.
missing out.
Listen, it's just not for me. It's for somebody. I'm not saying it's bad.
for me.
It's just not for me. It's for you.
That's my shit, man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, some people are wrong. Guys.
Okay, you're never wrong about Beyonce. It's not like I'm like, I've heard this underground star. I didn't like pick a random.
I hear she's this up and comer.
Like, who?
I'm not gonna pretend
who's
Beyonce's not a
Beyonce?
queen. I'm aware Beyonce's a queen. Okay, I just
Damn, I've never. Yeah. All right. Well, we really did actually do a little bit of like wine buzz convo there.
a little bit. We went a little long today, but that's how it goes sometimes when you're having a
on
couple.
a Monday.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
The good vibes are high on this
They really
Monday.
were.
Let's see how the sports world ruins that for Friday's show. We will be back here live on Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Hope you guys join us. Thank you to everybody in the chat for chiming in. We see you. We love you. And enjoy your week and your sports week and just your week in general.
Yeah, we'll see you on Friday.